welcome back. You're watching Today, and drivers and owners of e-hailing taxi services are planning a shutdown on Monday. They say that they are being exploited by low commissions and that pick-up and drop-off methods sometimes expose drivers to life-threatening crimes. They've called on all users and drivers to switch off their phones on Monday. Let's find out more from the chairperson of the Soweto E-Hailing Association, Thato Ramaila. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Tell us a little bit about some of the reasons that you are calling on your members to shut down on Monday, essentially make sure that the e-hailing services are virtually non-operational on the day.
Good evening to you and your listeners. Basically what's happening on Monday is that we are having a national shutdown. And the national shutdown is actually with Johannesburg, Gauteng, Rustenburg, PE, KZN, and other e-hailers drivers. They are actually joining us as we're speaking. Even Israel, they also joined now. And our call to this is to say every driver within South Africa must shut down all the e-hailing applications, which is Bolt, Uber, and InDriver. And we want to start now that they need to come on board and speak to us about the commission that they are charging us that are very ridiculous, and also enhancing on the security features that we actually need as drivers, since we're encountering a lot of criminal elements that are happening in the industry. And 25% charging commission that they're charging, and 6% of a request of the clients. That is overwhelming with us. We only, at the end of the day, working for petrol and the commission for these guys. We are unable to pay for our vehicles and also sustain our daily lifestyles.
What do they say when you communicate with them around how that commission is calculated? You just said 30%, if I heard you correctly. How do these e-hailing service providers calculate that particular commission?
Actually, the commission is being enforced on us by this company. They don't negotiate with us. They don't acknowledge our structures, which is we have around on the groundwork. They do not even consult with us in terms of security measures or anything with regarding the commissions. Now we find ourselves in a predicament that we don't even know where these companies are. Even if you try to reach out to them, you can't basically reach out to anyone. They'll always send someone they hire just to come and give you guys to say, I'm listening to you guys, but nothing ever happens. So we're hoping that the shutdown that is coming now, the community of South Africa and all the drivers in South Africa, we can try and show this country to say, as young Black South Africans and anybody else that is working in the industry, that we're crying out to the government that they need to see that this industry is regulated. And on top of that being regulated, the industries of them saying they are just an app on the air, they cannot be regulated or negotiate with us. They need to come on board. And we start strategizing on how to make this effort that we make sure that this industry is conducive for everybody else.
Let's talk to the security concerns that you have as drivers and operators in the space. Are you able to share some examples of the criminality that drivers have been exposed to and what it is that you would like the companies to do to protect you?
One thing for showcase is that on the client side, what is happening is that any client can actually download the app on air and not put their ID or put any South African like ID book or anything. And when they commit these crimes after they actually requested us, when you look for them, you can't find them. Like even now, I'll tell you now with the South Africans that I have an injury here that actually occurred today, of which one of the drivers was attacked, and we were there to assist the driver, and we were attacked by those criminals today in Mapeta Piri.
So what exactly is it that you would like to change when it comes to the provision of security, just based on what you've just described to us as early as today, someone was attacked by a criminal. So what would make you feel safer as an e-hailing service provider?
Number one, it will actually really help to have live locations on all the clients that request. And number two, there must be a facial recognition on all the clients that request. And also the client must actually put their personal details on their apps. Like, for example, to put your CVV number of your bank card on the app, or also if you're not putting your CV number on the app with your particulars of your banking, you must have at least a facial recognition of lifetime at that particular time that you actually requesting, so that data can be captured and also be used. If anything should happen to any driver, we are able to retrieve information and be able to trace where about the driver could be, because a lot of our drivers are missing even up to today. We don't even know where they are and how to start even looking for them, because we don't have any information to go to these companies and need them to give us that information. And worst part is them not even sharing data with our South African authorities at a given time. It also makes it pretty much very difficult. So one of the other things, hence we are calling into all the South African app companies that we have in South Africa, that we come on board and find a mutual way that we can work together and they can benefit also the industry, because the industry is no longer a side hustle for drivers. It has become an employment that a lot of people are actually surviving from the e-hailing industry. Now we need to find a way that how can we create it as an employment and it can be conducive for all families that they can survive from the industry.
Yeah, so you have initiated the shutdown, which you say has rallied support from different parts of the country. What happens after Monday in terms of actionable implementation? We all have different shutdowns for different reasons in the country, and it doesn't necessarily change the state of affairs. So what are you hoping is going to happen after the shutdown on Monday?
I didn't initiate the strike. I was invited to the strike by a collective of drivers in South Africa. They felt that I needed to be part of them. And when they told me exactly how they're feeling and how they want to engage in this matter, I obliged to the invitation as a leader that I was elected by people to lead them in this industry. And for that, it is my sole responsibility that I find a way that we can coexist together collectively as people that are affected in the industry. So the committee that was formed of the strike is actually consists of state drivers from across the certain provinces in South Africa, excluding certain provinces that at the moment they don't understand why we are doing this. But they have confidence in me to say, and other leaders to say, that if we find a way that we can make these app companies listen to us, and the state also to start intervening in these matters, especially our police entities, that they need to start having units that actually look into e-hailing services, and also to uproot the elements of criminality within us and the taxi industry that we're not getting along and all those things, because of we do not have someone from the government to acknowledge, to say, listen, this business is here. It's not a matter of politics or anything, but the e-hailing is here in South Africa. That's the reality that we are living amongst. Us saying it's not regulated does not benefit anyone, but it's only opening up a lot of kind of worms that are actually now affecting communities and also us. And we are parents, fathers, husbands, and mothers, because we have a lot of women that are driving this industry. If the government, they can just say to us, come, let's sit down and let us formalize this industry and make it conducive for everybody to work in it and be a safe environment. And also the commission on this thing, the government must truly, truly, truly come into this commission, because we can show you, we have even evidence on the ground to say this is not working from our country's perspective of things.
Thank you very much for that update. Thato Ramaila, they're leading a shutdown that will be taking place on Monday by e-hailing service providers, and he's, of course, the chairperson of the Soweto E-hailing Association. Let's take